Hello. So if any of you have seen any of the previous videos, you may have seen some of the inside of the car. I've done bits of the car. I restored the dashboard when I rewired it, but I've never actually got around to finishing the inside. So problem is I'm getting more and more bits that need to go back on the car that are lying around. So I want to get a lot of it back on the car or in the car. So one of the things is I bought new door cards for the front 3 years ago, because the original door cards, well, basically the door seals weren't great, so water had got in. These are the trim panels that go up the top of the door. So on there you go. So they clip over the lip of the door. There are little clips on the inside of this, and then screw to the door in 6 places there, and then the door card goes underneath there. So I've refurbished all these. I had to re-veneer parts of them as well. It's solid, I think it's Sapele on these cars. I think it changed through the years. These are Sapele, which is kind of a teak, I think, so I had to re-veneer the ends. This is solid, but the ends are veneered. I'm not a woodworker, but I you know, it looks a lot better than it did. So I want to put those on. New door cards. I replaced. So this will go inside the door. I've cleaned the inside of the door up a lot as well. Let's take that off. So I have cleaned off all the glue. I've only done this. Well, I've done the 2 front doors, but I've got to do the rear doors. I'll show that another time. So I used, to clean it off, this stuff, 3M adhesive cleaner, 08984. Stinks to high heaven. Don't know what's in it. Naphtha. Yeah, it's pretty stinky, but it's really good at removing contact adhesive like Evo Stick. So I've used that along with, because there was a mixture of glues on there, wasn't all contact adhesive, so I've used a Scotch-Brite or you know, plastic scouring pad to clean. It has worn the paint off a little bit in some areas, but as you can see, Rover didn't bother too much with the insides of the doors anyway being sprayed, so you can see the primer through there. So I've cleaned all of that off. I've replaced this tape at the top, which is, I think, just goes over where the door inner panel and the outer skin come together. I think that's just to stop the wooden trim rattling on there, so I replaced that. The old stuff had gone very hard and brittle. I've refurbished these brackets, so this is just loosely held in, but these are for the armrest to screw into. So the armrest has, obviously the door card goes there. This is part of the door armrest, which I probably should have refurbished better, but I haven't. But these are the movable armrests. So you can see that can slide up and down, and this just locks in to there. So you screw that to there, and then you can move the armrest up and down. And then I had these professionally done. Those are the covers that go on the armrest. So that sits up inside there, and they go on there. So I've got new door cards, new armrests, and then I just cleaned up the inside. I cleaned out the The door's actually in pretty good condition. I cleaned out, there was bits of rust inside, vacuumed all that out. I've rust proofed inside with Tectil, which is a bit like a wax oil, and I actually like Tectil better than wax oil. Wax oil, I've always used wax oil, but wax oil's quite foamy when it goes on. Tectil is more like just a clear, an amber coloured liquid, and it dries pretty quickly as well, or it turns into a wax pretty quickly. It's just a bit less, goes on less thickly than wax oil, so I think it looks a bit less messy. But I've done everywhere inside that I can. Used basically just a can, but I think a 400ml can of Tectil on one door. And then I've just cleaned up all of these parts a bit, put a new foam pad in. Let's just stop this bar rattling, and then the door handles go on there, and they're held on with a spring clip, which just goes on there, and that spring clip sits in a notch on the spindle. So that's the door handle. The window winders are the same, they go on in the same way. Incredibly high geared, these window winders on the coupe. I don't know if the saloon's the same. It's basically less than two turns, which makes them, it's not particularly light, and these coupe winders are a little bit weak. I think sometimes the gears go on the crescent shaped thing that moves the mechanism inside. Sometimes those teeth go, but these seem okay. So the window winders will go on. Again, I've just cleaned everything up around there and rust proofed it. The other thing that I'm going to do is mount mirrors. So when I bought the car, it didn't have any door or wing mirrors fitted, which I was quite happy with because I don't really like wing mirrors, just personal preference. So I bought these mirrors, which are from Tex Automotive. The boxes, I think it got oil covered. But yeah, Tex Classic, texautomotive.com, TEX. And I think these are fairly period correct. I mean, Tex supplied things like wiper arms and mirrors to the British motor industry through the 50s and 60s and 70s, I think. So these are fairly period correct. A bit of debate about where best to mount them. Okay, so my very scientific sitting in the car and playing around with these mirrors has shown me that about there is the best place. So the front of the pedestal, or whatever, plinth, whatever you call it, the mirror that goes to the bodywork, is basically in line with the straight line coming down from the back edge of the quarter light. So somewhere around there. If you go too far forwards, then quarter light's going to hit them, and if you go too far back, it looks silly. So that is the best place, somewhere around there. So I've just put some masking tape on. I'm going to mark holes and then drill this door. Okay, so the hole is 6.5mm. I've only got 6, which I guess is probably 1/4 inch. But anyway, I don't have 6.5mm or 1/4 inch drill. I've got 6 or 7mm. So I am going to drill the first hole. Oh my gosh, that drill's got a bit of all over on it. Well, that's no good. There's the first problem. That drill's rubbish. Missed. Hole number one. So those two little lugs go in two holes there, just to hold it in place, and then it goes like that, and then the mirror sits on like that. Cool. Right, I'm just going to clean up. They fit in quite tightly actually, so 7mm was okay. So I'm just going to vacuum some of the shavings up, and then I'm just going to rust proof around it and screw it on. So I'll bring you back when it's done. So we've got the holes done. I've painted around them and left it overnight, and then just put some spray wax, this tactile stuff, which I quite like. So they're good to go. So as I was showing you before, these are the mirror kind of mounting brackets, or one of them. I've made this gasket to go against the bodywork there, and just cut the holes for it for the mounting lugs to go through. And then the mirrors come with, I think, just plain steel screws, so I'm going to use the stainless steel ones, just because things like that, you know, that's going to rust. It's just yeah, it's just going to rust and be a pain in the future. So I'm just going to put stainless steel straight in, using Posi-Drive screws. I know that's not original, but what would Rover think? There's one. Oh, that's pretty firm. I'm just going to adjust the gasket a bit. That's not going anywhere. So, and then get a different screwdriver. So this just has a grub screw that goes in, and then this part of the bracket is kind of wedge shaped, so the screw goes under the wedge of the plastic. So it just needs to be done up snug, not tight, he says. What I don't want to do is my mirror to fall off as I drive down the road. So there's a little bit of movement. It's pretty firm, but there is a little bit of movement there because the panel, this part of the panel isn't flat. It's slightly convex. So but that's pretty good. Let's just try and tighten up the mounting screws a bit more. Overdo it and strip the plastic. That's better. Less movement now. Maybe I need to tighten that up a little bit. There you go. That's good. That's solid. So they need a damn good clean, but I think they look really in keeping with the car. Yeah, kind of period correct, and I just prefer door mirrors to wing mirrors. So hopefully, if we wind the window down, yeah, perfect. So I've put tape along the back and the front edge of the door, and then at the bottom I've just put 3 strips. Probably overthinking it, but if water did get in between the inner door panel and this, then I kind of figured not a bad thing to have it somewhere to drain out at the bottom. So I'm just going to remove the backing paper. Right, let's stick this down. Try and keep it as flat as I can. I don't know if Rover used tape or glue originally. You saw the original door membranes had all sorts of glue on them, so I think maybe they used glue. It would be quicker in a factory, I would think, just to run a bead of glue around these and then stick them down. But so I think I'm going to call that done. I'm just going to tidy up the edges. So I'll bring you back. See you back here in a minute. Next on the list is the door capping. So as I've said, these have been these were water damaged. Car going by. So I've refinished these. They're not perfect again, but they are a lot better. So they're solid sapele, all of this. The end pieces are like basically a chipboard moulding, compressed wood, and that's that end and this shaped end here as well, and they obviously don't hold up to water very well, and the front of these can get water damaged around this area if the door seals fail. So this had all gone, so I've basically salvaged what I could and rebuilt it with epoxy, and then veneered the ends. So they're pretty good. Then there's these 4 clips on the inside which hook over this lip here. So these should that's roughly in place. It's pretty hard to see these screw holes, but that's one gone in. These are surprisingly hard to get in, but they are going in. It's difficult to see whether they line up. Okay, that looks a million miles better than it did. I've actually I have damaged the this corner here that I repaired. This is the problem. That I did these some long time ago and they've been in storage, and this is why I want to get things back on the car, so that needs a little bit of touching up there, but they look a million times, well, that looks a million times better than it did before. So then we have the door lock covers, which is 2 different lengths. There's a short and a long one. I'm not sure which was off the front. I've only just noticed. I don't know. I'll put the short one on the front. That seems plenty long enough. So now we can try and put the door panel on. So these are the door panels, and I haven't unwrapped these. About 4 years ago I bought them. These are reproduction ones. The originals were really badly water damaged, and if I just get this wrapping off, you can see the amount of work that has to go into these. So these are the door panels. So they're vinyl, they're not leather. The seats are leather, or the seat facings are leather, but most of the rest of the car is vinyl. And they have this moquette door pocket which is elasticated, and this is actually metal, this is steel, and what you see on quite a few old cars is the moquette is stained and it looks as though it's just dirty, but it's actually rust. The door pocket themselves rust, and then that stains the moquette. So basically, when I bought the car I thought, oh, it just needs a good clean, but it didn't. It's actually rust coming through. But also these, because the water had got in, these were all distorted, and they were just really horrible. Very, very bad state. So I thought I'd get new ones made. If you look on the back, you can see This is the elastic for the door pocket. That's actually got a steel wire in it that's got this kind of felt to stop it rattling. The stitching, these are stitched around the edge, and you can see that's taped on the inside, and then it's got kind of felt at the top to stop rattling, and then these the clips. It's going to be a bit of a pig, I think, to get these to line up, so I'm not going to film that because that could be a challenge. So I will bring it back when this is actually on, and show you how it's gone. So these tuck under this trim, so that's going to tuck under there, which is going to need, oh no, it's actually the padding is stops there, so yeah, that'll fit under, and then I need to align the trim panels, so that's going to be a bit of a fiddle, and then make the holes for the winders. Yeah. So I'll bring you back. Could be tomorrow because it's getting a bit late now. But I'll bring you back and show you that when it's done, and then we can get the handle on and put the winders on. And then I think this door's pretty much done.